Hi guys,
That's my husband.
this is my wife. We are another day in the car.
And we are two of the Another Day in the Car crew, third one being our son Jay. This is Jack. I'm Jules. Our son is Jay. He's an adult. So the three of us are actually, um,
Sometimes they call her Bunny. Since there's nobody in here, I just want to give that up real quick.
yeah,
Hi Karen.
I'm Bunny, he's Bay. And,
So tonight we're going to talk about D4vd, the singer known as David.
yeah. And then at the very end, those of you who have been following around and are following the Barry Morphy case, we're just gonna go over that new. It's not overly new. It's from June, but the grand jury indictment that came out for Barry. I have gone and used my handy dandy highlighter on a few points that seemed very relevant to me. I'm pretty sure I read the indictment to you guys before, but this time I'm just gonna go over, the most sticks out to me points on it, and we'll have a little discussion about that, little chit chat. But prior to that, we will talk about that singer D4vd, pronounced David, and his improper relationship with a junior high school girl named Celeste, and how on the heck did Celeste end up deceased in the trunk or frunk of David's Tesla. And so I will look again at some of the key lyrics of David's, but also looking at that from three different directions of possibilities in this case. One being that Celeste was an accidental overdose that he witnessed. Another being that someone else unalived Celeste, and David was in the dark on what happened. And the third possibility, of course, being that David became enraged and took Celeste out himself.
Yes, when they write the songs, they always got something to say with the lyrics.
Yeah, and he seems to be coming from his life experiences, what he's been experiencing. He's a young guy, actually, and we'll discuss some of that too. The things that go into this whole thing. So I guess I'll start with just giving the background on David. David was born in Queens, New York, and then his family relocated to Texas. And while in Texas, he completed the seventh grade and then went to being homeschooled by his mother. He and his mother are very close. And David was also, you know, a self-starter, I guess is the way to say it. He wanted to become famous. He wanted to make his money on YouTube or some similar platform, and at first he wanted to be a professional gamer. So David's first venture into fame, essentially, was as a Twitch gamer for the game Fortnite. And he even had an emote, which now Fortnite has kind of put that on wrapping paper, bubble wrap, whatever.
Fortnite
they're not using it right now.
Fortnite is one of the largest video games on the planet.
And it's multiplayer, and you can go in there as a team, duos or whatever, and you can go in as a single, and you get the oh no, I forgot what it's called, the battle royale or whatever.
The battle royale.
You can win at the end, and that's a lot of kudos, and that's very exciting, and that's one of the things that you really like to go for. And yes, I used to play Fortnite, but that was a long time ago when Jay liked playing Fortnite. He's moved on to bigger and better things, other games. He's not so interested in Fortnite anymore. I think the last season we played was when the John Wick character was introduced, and we played the John Wick version, but we haven't, I guess there's Metallica and other stuff, and I'm ashamed to say I did not play the Metallica one. I was done already. So anyhow,
That's because Fortnite really changed over the last few years.
oh, it changed so much, and I didn't like the changes, and neither did Jay. But some people love them, so to each their own. So David was trying to make it big on Fortnite, and then he got into some problems that we've had before too on our channels, which is he had music in the background that was copyrighted, so he lost his monetization. And so he went to his mom and cried to his mom, and this is from an interview that he gave to Benny Blanco that I watched just like, was it this morning or yesterday? 2 days?
Yeah, recently.
Well, we just recently watched it. But anyway, he told
He was very unhappy about getting that yellow light.
yeah, he
red
told
light.
Benny Blanco he was upset about that, and so he went to his mom, and he wasn't sure how much she was paying attention when she responded to him, but his mom said, make your own music. And he said that, a light bulb went off in his head, and he thought to himself, you know what, I could. He's a homeschooled kid, and homeschool kids are very resourceful, and they tend to be a lot more creative than public school kids because they've got a more flexible schedule, and they have more time to focus on their talents. So anyway, he decided, okay, I'll make my own song, my own music. And then he worked on making his own music, and he was posting his music on TikTok, and he had one that just went viral. And after that,
Blew up.
he blew up. It was amazing. And so he had all this fame rolling in, and once again he got more advice from his mom,
His mom
because and this time though he went the opposite of her. He was showing her a couple different directions he was going in, and some was more gory and sensational and stuff, but melded, the visuals for the videos melded with his pretty vocals and stuff. And he's like, what do you think of this, Mom? And she's like, oh, that is too gory. That is gross. Don't do that. And he went, well, if my mom thinks that it's too much, then it's probably cool. So then he decided to go with those music videos.
A lot of children will push against what their parents are missing.
And so it exploded. And yes, he's very close to his mom. And so here he is getting very famous. And at the same time, we will move over to this little girl named Celeste. And Celeste lived in Lake Elsinore, California. And Celeste has, of course, a family.
Don't shake
Several.
the little camera.
Sorry, I'm moving the camera all around, probably giving you guys a Caesar.
Sorry about that.
Anyway, Celeste was young when she met David online. And she met him when she was like 10 or 11 years old, probably in Fortnite or on his Twitch or whatever. But they sparked a friendship online, which happens, unfortunately. Kids need to have more supervision when they're on the internet and stuff, because you don't have any way of really knowing what age the people you are interacting with are, and kids tend to like take everything at face value. Even when you give them the classes about internet safety, even when you're very hands-on, they still tend to think that that you're ancient and that you don't know what you're talking about. So you have to stay on it, because Monday they'll agree with you and believe you, but if you don't tell them again on Tuesday, on Wednesday, they're going to be doing the complete opposite of what they agreed to on Monday. Anyway, Celeste, of course, was excited that she was friends with this up-and-coming music star, David. And at some point, their interactions became more romantic. And it's very wrong. David is at least 5 years older than Celeste, but doing a psychoanalysis of this, you look at David and you realize, okay, he's 20 now, but 20 isn't exactly an adult. And when you think of the way the brain forms and such, people aren't really adults until they're like 25.
Right.
And, I totally thought I was an adult when I was a young teen, and I sure was not. So I know where I know a bit about a thing or two. And yeah, the parents probably don't realize that almost anything can be a web browser. Almost any innocuous thing that kids have a way that they can go ahead and turn that into a way to communicate with other kids, or people claiming to be other kids.
Yep.
Anyhow, so Celeste and David built up this relationship, not really sure whether David is 100% a creeper, or if David is an immature individual who considers Celeste to be his peer. He has done interviews where he is talking about the process of making his music and coming up with his lyrics and his visuals, and about how he talks to people on various platforms, Discord, Twitch, etc., where he's having his little conversations with them, and he considers all these people he talks to his peers. He calls them his peers, but his peer group that is talking to him on there ranges from like kids in 6th grade on up to people his age. So that's a bit much. Legally speaking, though, what he did, any relationship with Celeste, was incredibly wrong, and that's another place where parents need to step up with their kids, as they need to explain to them what is appropriate and what is not appropriate regarding who you hang out with age-wise. You might have a lot in common, a lot of common ground, but the age difference is very, very bad. And I would say that people shouldn't date people younger than them until they're all in the adult range, because there's different phases of development with kids. And while a kid who's Celeste's age might seem mature, they're really not, and they definitely cannot give consent. And I guess David first met up with her in person when he was 16 or 17. He was underage too. But the thing is, that's inappropriate. There was too great of an age difference between them. There are specific laws talking about how much age difference there can be between young people. So, all the young guys out there need to be careful. That's something we talk to our son about all the time, is, don't date anybody that is, more than a year or two younger than you. That is not going to work out.
Dating older women, like 1 year older or whatever, just to avoid this.
Yeah, or better yet, like we keep telling them, or better yet, don't date right now. You got too much other stuff to be working on, and don't go
David's career
getting all hooked up in other stuff.
David's career was booming at the time.
Anyway, yeah,
wow.
his career was booming. She was excited to see him, and then it turns out that Celeste ran away to spend some time with David for Valentine's Day, February 2024. And that's the same month that David's manager rented the home that David had been living in with Celeste. Rented that in February of 2024. I don't know whether it was for the purpose of being able to have Celeste see David. Celeste lived about an hour from that home in the Hollywood Hills, and David still had Texas plates on his Tesla because he is from Texas. Anyhow, Celeste went and stayed with him. I don't know if this is the time that she returned home voluntarily or if that was the time that police brought her back home again. I do know that Celeste ran away from home 3 times to be with David. The 3rd time, she ended up in the trunk of the Tesla. The 2nd time was in April, about a month before the 3rd time. And in between these visits with David, Celeste was sharing this great romance story with her classmates. And, obviously she felt like this was kind of like a Romeo and Juliet situation. But do you even know what the, Romeo and Juliet situation was? Guys, they ended up dead, both of them. So anyway, it's not a good example, but kids always yearn to be the great love of Romeo and Juliet. And anyway, got the soapbox. So David would go and see Celeste in her hometown and would meet up with her about a 6-minute walk from her house. He didn't go straight up to the house. Her family was aware that she had a boyfriend named David, but it's unclear how many of them knew that it was this David with a Tesla and 5 years older than her. They may have known that he was older than her, but it's unclear who all met him. And also, I am going to refuse to victim blame the family. It's a horrible tragedy. They've lost their daughter. And, nothing that is said or done at this point will change that. They will never have their daughter back. That's enough punishment or what have you. They don't need the general public going after them. Anyhow.
Definitely raise the parents of that. I'd be crushed if one of my children was found in a Tesla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alive or dead, being found in a Tesla. But that's just my opinion. Anyhow, then we get to how this whole thing unfolded. And that begins with the discovery of the Tesla.
Hello.
The Tesla was parked outside of David's home across the street. Now there are some reports that it didn't smell yet when it got called in by the neighbors. I wasn't there, so I don't know whether it smelled or not. We're just going to have to wait for the rest of the investigations to know whether the vehicle stank or if it was just a pain in the butt to have this car parked out there for a couple weeks. Black Tesla with Texas plates, and in the Hollywood Hills, people aren't too crazy about people from Texas or Texas plates. They're a little bit snooty, aloof, whatever about it. And so the car got called in, and a couple days later, the tow yard grabbed the Tesla and took it to the tow yard facilities. While this is going on, David is out of town. He has started a world tour called the Withered Tour, and his album is called Withered. It's his first studio album. So we will get a little bit more into the significance of Withered, or the coincidence of Withered. Anyhow, he's out of town. The Tesla gets towed. It's at the top story of this multiple story parking garage. Yeah. And then the odor gets to be overwhelming. The overwhelming, powerful smell of death. The tow company personnel was extremely alarmed, so they called LAPD, who went out at the scene and At the same time, there happened to be a news helicopter flying that got footage of the top of that garage as the trunk was opened, and there was black plastic wrap in there. Now, news agents actually spoke to the police that had been there.
Oh, somebody's
And-
upset with me. Keep going, though.
Okay. And the news agent spoke to someone from the police department who at that time, while still being very respectful and quiet and not releasing anything that would damage a case, did verify that remains were found in a Tesla at the top of the garage, and that it was wrapped in something of significance, and then black plastic wrap around that, leaving the journalist to wonder what the heck a item of significance could be. Would it be like maybe a blanket or part of a bedding set, or what could it be? Obviously, it's something that would tie her to a scene or to a person. Anyway, at that time, Celeste had not been identified yet, and it had not been made known yet that the remains found in the Tesla were those of a child. When David was alerted, he did not state that his car had been stolen or anything. We don't know whether he's let anyone routinely use his Tesla or what, or we don't know how many people might have lived in his home or had access to his home and his Tesla. What we do know is that on the 12th, which was a couple days after the remains were found in the Tesla and the remains were identified, police went to David's home, that rented home, $20,000 a month rented home. Anyway, yeah, they went there and they spent over 12 hours searching the home, and what they released to the public was that, among other things, they were looking for blood evidence. They were seen leaving. Reporters discovered that they carried out laptop and tablets and cell phones, as well as evidence bags that they couldn't see through. And so unknown what all evidence they got from that, but whatever's going on, they are still being very careful about what they have to say. And then yesterday they announced that they are looking into David's relationship with Celeste, that they are aware that he had an improper relationship with Celeste, but they're still not saying anything about him being tied to her actual homicide. Yes, Celeste's death has been ruled a homicide, but the medical report is not released to the public as yet because it is incomplete, pending labs and things like that. They're probably running toxicology, and so they have not given a time frame as to when Celeste ceased to be alive or when she was placed in that trunk. Clues are that neighbors stated that the car started being parked in the neighborhood instead of at the residence in May, and that it just kept getting moved every 72 hours or so in order to avoid being towed, and then it stayed in that one spot too long and was
Could you imagine joggers jogging around Hollywood Hills, bicyclists up there passing that car, just going, oh my God, what is that smell?
Yeah, and like I said, Celeste is a little girl. She was 13 when she ran away to be with David the first time. She was 14 when she ended up not being alive because of the state of decomposition. And her 15th birthday was the day before police opened that frunk and found her remains.
The frunk. What a silly word.
Meanwhile, David is 20 years old, so he's 6 years older than this girl. David is not quite a man, but he's not really a boy. By the letter of the law, he will be tried as an adult for whatever crimes he may be charged with. But mentally speaking, he may have been socially delayed. He may have considered himself to actually be.
Do you think it was the
Celeste Pier
homeschool caused him to be mentally delayed like that with those stuffed
Socially?
animals he would pack around on his belt loops?
I've seen videos of David, so this is like analysis of David, not all homeschool kids or anything like that, because a lot of homeschool kids also get socialization. I don't know how much socialization he had and whether his peers, if he had peers in person or if his peers were all online. David seems to be very into Pokemon and oh no, I forgot the name of them. Those little Lulu guys. Those expensive.
Let us know in the comments. Those little collectible guys.
Oh, they seem to be like a more
my scroll.
a more ugly version of like Monchi cheese. They're these little stuffy guys with faces and teeth, sharp teeth. And I think that they're kind of expensive too. I believe my son told me that you can expect to spend $80 a pop on these little stuffies, and that they're for hanging on your backpack or whatever. They're just kind of like for clout or whatever. And he says they're also to attract girls because girls between 16 and 25 like these little stuffies. And we noticed that in concert, David likes to wear at least two of these little guys hanging from his belt. And
good job, moderators. There's a lot of trolls in here.
And yes, the police detectives are still looking into the case. David hasn't been charged with anything at this point. He may not have even committed anything related to the death of Celeste, or he could have. But he definitely had an improper relationship with Celeste, and people are coming forward with that information. Probably a little bit worried about being accessories or whatever, but whatever their sorry about that. But whatever their motivation for coming forward, people are coming forward, and it could be out of the goodness of their hearts, or it could be because they're worried about being charged with being an accessory to stuff being done to a minor. But they are coming forward stating that... Please talk.
I don't have anything to say. We were out today in our local area here in the Rocky Mountains, where a lot of tourists come. Garden of the Gods. Okay. And there were so many cameras out there. So if you're going out to the concerts, nightclubs, it's got to be people taking pictures. This just seems like something that, you're going out, you're taking selfies and taking pictures of your friends, and you're drinking and having a good time. And there's gotta be cameras. So, hey, you gonna be okay? Let's get those pictures and post them on social media. Give them to the police. Whatever you guys think might help.
Okay, I think I'm gonna be okay now. So,
poor girl. Harvey from TMZ.
So, a lot of people have come out now and are sharing their cell phones with law enforcement, stating that they did know that Celeste and David were a couple, but they didn't know that she was underage. They claim that she... I was going to say, they did claim that she wore heavy makeup and false eyelashes and stuff when she was out, so they couldn't really tell what her age was. and they just assumed that she was David's age, is what some people said. The neighbors said that they were definitely a couple and that they lived in David's house.
Those young girls
And,
can really get the makeup on and make them appear to be much older.
And
than they are.
other people that were like friends and associates with them stated that they just assumed that she was of age because they met up with them in clubs that had age limits. And I'm curious as to what the age limits were at these clubs, due to the fact that David is 20, not 21. So if this is a 21 and over club, that'd be really weird that both David and this 13-year-old girl were being served at this club. But if it's an 18 and over club, which I know there were some cool 18 and over clubs in Hollywood back when I was a youth, and yeah, at an 18 and over club, probably with some makeup and maybe a fake ID of someone else that looks similar, they wouldn't look too closely at her, especially if she's with David and cash is being thrown around and everything.
Concert venues can quite possibly be 18 and over or 16 and over.
And so yeah.
Fuzzy.
This one or
The other one.
this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, give me back
Thank
mine.
you.
I'll take my flat one.
TMZ. Yeah, TMZ's doing a banging job on this. For sure.
We have this
We watch TMZ.
boobly water or bubbly, I don't know how you
Yum.
call it, but it's yum, and
Salute.
we've got the lime
Champs.
flavor. I've been drinking mine flat, and he likes his to be freshly bubbly. But anyway, the lemon lime seems to help my throat a little bit, but I also
You should
have,
go out and get some cough drops.
yeah.
Maybe
I
tomorrow.
was gonna say I'm gonna need to go get some cough drops or something and work on that. And I apologize for coughing on you guys. Anyway, well, I knocked the light around. So
You have enough light? We have lots of light.
there
We're
are
YouTubers, you know, we have lots of lights.
a couple of different theories that people have floated forward. Some of it are that David's being framed for the death of Celeste. Others say, oh, David killed Celeste, and some say maybe Celeste was an OD or something, or maybe something happened and it was an accident. But whatever the case, David's lyrics are very revealing.
Better out than in, she says.
And so first, his first big popular one is Romantic Homicide, with lyrics, and of course this came out well before Celeste ended up deceased. In the back of my mind, you died, and I didn't even cry. No, not a single tear. In the back of my mind, I killed you, and I didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true. I hate you. So, that's just, a mindset, creator. But, some of the creativity comes from, you put a part of you into your work. So that's a little bit something that makes you go, Then there's Celeste, an unreleased track that actually was leaked in December of 2024, right around the same time that David and Celeste were entertaining groups of fans on Discord in live chats, live video chatting as a couple, and he was calling her wifey and stuff. So there's no question in my mind anyway that this Celeste song is about that Celeste. There were two Celestes in David's life. The other Celeste is the one that's being used in the music videos because she is definitely over the age of 18, and he never had child Celeste in any of his music videos, and he actually asked people to delete the footage whenever he would video chat them with Celeste by his side, the child Celeste. So he was aware that it was not okay for him to be together with this child. So, later on, if he gets charged with anything, if he goes to trial, that will likely be a big part of the prosecution's case, is the fact that he obviously knew that what was going on was wrong and was trying to cover it up. For instance, meeting Celeste and then paying off her friends that were with her in Lake Elsinore, where they would, Celeste and the other kids, junior high kids, would be hanging out, and David would show up, and then he would give out thousands of dollars to have those other kids
Freaking sacks of cash.
not talk about it. Yeah, stacks of cash.
Stacks of cash in sacks.
Anyway, so relative to their relationship, this also indicates that David and Celeste did drugs together, and I'm guessing, even though they only mention weed, that maybe there was more than just weed, since that tends to be what happens with rising stars.
Weed is not a gateway drug.
Right. That's why I'm not thinking it's a gateway drug. I'm thinking maybe alcohol and maybe party drugs or something, because you don't OD on weed. So if she died of an overdose, it definitely wasn't weed. And anyway, so this is what it's like to not need weed to get me high. I love it when you hold me when you cry. So for some reason, Celeste was crying and he was holding her.
Crying in his arms. That's weird.
She was crying in his arms. Just because, be my Valentine. And yeah, she ran away Valentine's Day the first time to go stay with David in the home that he had just rented. Anyway, be my Valentine. I want to make Cupid suicidal. And then, oh Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Now, whether that is a true tattoo on her chest,
Karen,
or whether that is a Fent is being put in weed now. That's a possibility.
that could eliminate a human immediately.
Yeah, unfortunately. I know of several different
we're
people.
We're told all kinds of horrible things on this channel.
Yeah, I know of several different people who have been deceased due to accidentally ingesting Fent, because they were like at a club or at a party or whatever, and they took a toke off the wrong joint.
Don't take other people's stuff.
Anyway, oh Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed. Oh Celeste. Afraid you'll only love me when undressed, but you look so damn gorgeous in that dress. Missing you so much makes me depressed. So,
I think
why
we should
was he
remove this word.
missing
Karen.
her? Which one?
About what's being put in weed. I think.
No, that's okay.
You think
No,
that's okay?
Yeah, that's even in
You
commercials
think
on
the
YouTube.
YouTube will allow
Yeah,
that?
it's even on commercials on
Alrighty
YouTube.
then.
So
YouTube.
it's
is not-
educational.
needs to be
Educational purposes.
cut. Educational purposes only.
Yeah. Anyway, then we get into Say It Back, where his lyrics say, when seasons change again and you get bored of me, I want you to let me know, but I can't let you go. Because I love you like I'm supposed to, but you don't say it back. You never say it back. So now I hate you, and I hope it breaks you. I won't take it back. So that sounds like, a love that has reached a difficult point where the male in being David, where David is upset about his love not returning his love in the manner that he wishes, and that it's making him angry and wanting to lash out. And whether this is just art or if this is a reflection of what was going on in his relationship with Celeste remains to be seen. Then we've got, is this really love? Is this really love? You may have called my bluff, but you've been acting up. Hating you ain't enough. I just want back my love. You got somebody else to take my place. You did it the wrong way after all I did for you. You said that you never meant to hurt me, but baby, I know this is how it goes. So,
Silly camera mount.
so that sounds like, he got dumped. And that he was very resentful about this because of all he did for her.
When
I mean,
did-
like, he was paying out stacks and stuff.
When did he make that movie, that video about the trunk of the car? And
That was during their relationship, but before she ended up deceased. All of these songs are depending on when she was deceased. I was going to say all these songs are written from before she was deceased, but that's just assuming she was recently deceased. I don't know when she was deceased. I'm waiting to find out if anyone had any sightings of her more recently than, like, May. Anyway.
Man.
Then, yeah, because May is when the neighbors say that the car started being parked
They
around the
just
neighborhood
found her
instead of at the house. And they found her on September... Well, her birthday was September 7th, and September 8th is when the trunk was opened and her remains were exposed, and they were in a very advanced stage of decomposition.
Just sitting in that car for all the time.
Yeah.
Since May.
So it depends on how long she's been in the car. Because it might not have been since May. It might have been longer than May. It might have been more recent than May. Was she someplace else before she was in the trunk? We don't know that
Maybe
yet.
She was in a freezer or something.
Yeah, we don't know that yet. All we know is that her friends, her little friends, who used to video chat with her and David every day after she ran away the third time and was staying with David, they say that she stopped communicating with them in August of 2024, and that they hadn't seen her since then. But who knows when these neighbors and these other club goers and stuff have seen her.
post your photos up. Let's see.
Also, it's possible that she was pregnant, since she and David were in Discord, and David said that he and wifey were expecting. So that could be a motive or whatever, and I don't know whether at that advanced stage of decomp they would be able to tell whether she was indeed pregnant at the time of her death.
Should be some hormones in her remains somewhere.
Yeah. Anyway, then we have somewhere in the middle. It's you doing things you're not supposed to do. You don't think that I would know the truth, but every day I see the way you move, and it's not like you. I want to think you love me, but you never say the word. I gave you what you wanted and got nothing in return. I don't love you. I don't hate you. I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't love you. I don't have to. I'm losing it a little, somewhere in the middle. I just bought a hammer. I'm trying to fix you.
Dude, that's like that one guy. Hammer in the
Yeah, like the skinned video for Tyler Hadley? Is that who it was?
Yeah, in Florida.
A hammer to the brain? And anyway, and then just a little lyric out of Where'd It Go Wrong, and it's baby, don't trip on me, baby, why can't you see? And then it goes, I don't really want your love no more, I swear, 'cause I don't need it, and I don't need to be conceited, but I'm the reason you're still breathing. So that does sound conceited and a bit alarming to say that it's just up to her, up to him, that this female that he's thinking about, quite possibly Celeste, that he's the reason why she's still breathing. And then another one, which this one might lean towards maybe she left him and he didn't know that she ended up deceased, or maybe he knew but she left him, and then he deceased her or whatever, just, absorbed these lyrics and let them rattle around in there. It's called You Left Me First, and the ones I highlighted were, how ironic is it that when you left me first, it never made sense to me, falling deeper into jealousy, because I can't help the thought of you with someone else. I know the truth. I sound so stupid right now, but like I've been so selfish and I can't stop thinking about you and what I did and how it's affecting like everything. Like I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really am sorry. And that's the end of the song. And then we have these other two that might lean a little bit towards him not knowing what happened to Celeste. Because there's Where Did You Go? I told you I didn't know that a house don't mean that you got a home. How hard is it to live alone after having someone around? And I was drowning in chemicals, pacing back and forth around my living room, drinking all the water in the swimming pool, praying that the chlorine can clean me too. And let's see, and then we get down to Where Did You Go? You're nothing but a memory. Oh, where did you go? I needed you next to me. Why am I still looking for an answer that will never come? Left me alone in an empty bed with the songs you never sung. I just need a text or a call saying that you moved on. More direct to the heart. But you send me a card. No, I won't be alarmed. Just expected much more from someone that I gave it all for. So that one might indicate... Well, this could indicate either that he didn't know what happened and that he didn't know why she wasn't in his life, or it could indicate denial, where he's like not taking responsibility. And then, like I said, David's relationship with Celeste began with a friendship. And so this one seems a little bit telling to me, but it also might indicate that he thought she just left him and that's why she wasn't around anymore. And it's called Friend Again. And the lyrics that stand out are, I think we should settle down. That's what I told her. I should have been less bolder. She said, I'm not the one. I used to be her everything, and now she doesn't answer me. I didn't ask for anything. I only want her next to me. She's got someone better, and I've got jealousy. Love me, hate me, whatever you're feeling, nothing changes. I don't want to be your friend again. I know you want to fight me, hurt me whenever I'm healing. You're too dangerous. I don't want to be your friend again. And, so that's showing a lot of hurt, anger, and pain. And whether that is a person who has been dumped, a person who has harmed their loved one, or just art. Who knows? And then the one that is most alarming and was so alarming that our son even wrote, "Oh no!" on it, is Ghost. And I'm just going to read the entire song to you. A lot of it sticks out. I'll mention the parts that stick out. But anyway, it's called Ghost. Oh, why don't you love me? Oh, heaven or hell, we will meet. Lucky me, lucky me, lucky me, just to have met. Torture me, torture me, torture me, I can't forget. He might have you, but I've got your ghost, and we both know that's the real you. And God knows it's true. I love you the most, but we both know what I have to do. Eyes looking right through me. Why? Why can't I hear your heartbeat? Just a dream, just a dream, just a dream. Don't wake me up. Make-believe fantasy. Dance with me under the moon above. He might have you, but I've got your ghost. And we both know that's the real you. And God knows it's true. I love you the most, and we both know what I have to do. She's so happy when she's with me. Leave me in this dream. Don't be nasty. Let us keep this perfect memory. He might have you, but I've got your ghost. And that just, yeah, as Karen Lee mentions, those lyrics are sure saying something. And, it remains to be seen what it is, but there is a lot more to this case than originally meets the eye, I think. And there's probably a lot more people involved in this story as well. There are people that did know that Celeste was so much underage and was with him.
Others.
There must be others that knew that she was deceased.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's just, there's so much to unpackage here. And yeah, one of the things that stands out to me the most with this is eyes looking right through me. Anyone who's ever seen a corpse that has not had somebody close its eyes, those eyes look right through you. And then, why can't I hear your heartbeat? That sounds like someone that's very alarmed and, trying to get a heartbeat, and there's no heartbeat, and just like not fathoming, not understanding that they are facing death right there in front of them. So that is the dive into David so far. I believe that David is like an immature male who felt that people younger than him were his actual peers, which is not a good thing when it comes to interpersonal relationships and romantic relationships. He needed to have more people rein him in rather than encourage him. But when money flows, when fame flows, hangers-on and such will do anything to please the person whose coattails they're riding on. And Karen Lee, I see that your question is, can I ask a question? I can't remember if people were just complaining about the car being illegally parked, or did they also smell something coming from the front? And the thing is that just today I saw a headline on somebody's YouTube, which I didn't watch their YouTube, and it said, it was like being all controversial and saying, what, no smell? But everything everything that I had heard up till this point was that the neighbors smelled something. The car smelled bad and it was attracting flies. And they thought maybe a small animal was deceased in the car, or like in the undercarriage of the car or whatever, but they thought there was maybe a deceased small animal that was being, and that was a nuisance, and so they reported it, and the vehicle got towed. And from what I've researched and gotten so far was that there was a scent, but it wasn't overly bad when the car was towed, and they also assumed that there was like either rotten meat or like groceries gone bad or something. But then after 2 days it got so bad that they knew something seriously bad was going on, and they called the police to come investigate that Tesla. And
What the heck? It wasn't like a bag of avocados that was not bad.
oh, but I remember when our neighbor got deployed, and I don't know if you were around or if you were working out of town at the time, but they got deployed and they left their car in their driveway with a bag of groceries, and I think there's like chicken or something in there, and oh my god, that was a horrible smell. And there's nothing that could be done because it was on their property.
What are we working on now? What do you guys want to talk about now, everybody?
Okay, that was
D4vd.
David.
They're keeping that real hush hush right now.
And we're just waiting to see what all's going to unfold.
We're waiting for another player to come out. We got the manager.
And
we have the classmates and the school teacher. Who else?
And one of the meanings of life is to love one another.
Oh, I
And,
deleted
and
something.
why did you delete something?
I don't know. I was scrolling through and someone's comment got deleted.
And
Probably Karen's.
and I say to love one another. That is something, that is a motto that I have been following. And a sage young man gone way too soon is the source of that motto of having love and forgiveness, and just I guess maybe agape would be the word for it. But that sage young person I just got reminded of again tonight, because when we were downtown, we went and we visited Gannon Stouck's mural.
We don't
Hashtag Gannon Strong, and I will post it in the community later on today or tomorrow morning. And
That's on our other camera.
and Gannon just meant so much and still means so much to everyone, and he was just all about spreading the love. And
So sorry to that family.
yeah. Anyway, now we're gonna Oh yeah, Caden. Yeah, I'm gonna look at that because I saw it. JLR has got that case, and I want to know what happened with that big time. And I trust JLR with this story. He actually went to the scene of where the car was and stuff. And so I'm gonna watch JLR when I get off of here, and I'll also do some research and get all compile it.
Where it happened.
Yeah, and I'll compile it and bring it back to you guys so you can get it from me as well as with JLR, because one of the things I like doing is getting stories from several different creators, and just putting it all together in my own mind. And I know that lots of people are like me that way, so definitely JLR's got the story also.
Show him some love. He's a good creator.
And
Should we say there?
yeah, tell JLR we sent him.
Okay,
The
we're
car
gonna,
crew, send us over there.
We're gonna roll into what now?
Now we're just going to go look at Barry Morphew's grand jury indictment and the few things that I highlighted out of that just for discussion.
Are you guys ready to talk about Barry? You guys are dying to talk about old Barry.
And so here we go. Count one, but there's only one count. And it's murder in the first degree after deliberation. So, and we'll even see some of the... I haven't had time to watch it yet today either, but I will definitely
busy.
This weekend do an update and bring everybody up to date on the Brandon Isabel trial. Brandon Isabel case is horrific, and I hope that nothing goes wrong with this trial, and I hope he's found guilty, and I hope he gets the maximum. This guy, for whoever might be watching this and doesn't know, Brandon Isabel, Memphis guy, who he was dating two girls, two co-workers at FedEx, and he preferred one of them, but the other one got pregnant. And of course, the girl that he preferred didn't want to deal with having a baby mama or raising somebody else's kid, so she wanted to break up with Brandon Isabel. Brandon Isabel was begging her not to break up with him, and so the other girl, Artesia was her name, I believe, and Artesia gave him a DNA test to take over, and find out whether this baby was his or not, because he was claiming, oh, it's not my baby. Anyway, he went to the hospital when Danielle Hoyle, that's the mother of baby Kennedy, his other girlfriend, was in labor. And while she was in labor, he was texting on the phone the entire time with Artesia, trying to get Artesia not to leave him and saying, yeah, I'll find out whether this is my child or not. And saying, I don't think it is. And then he left the hospital after the baby girl was born, telling Artesia that this is not his child. Then the day after, when the baby was 2 days old, Danielle was discharged from the hospital with baby Kennedy, beautiful little baby girl, and she went home. She lived with her mom, and she had like an hour visit with her mom. They did photo ops. The baby was in a very cute little outfit with a little cap on, and it was so sweet. Anyway, then the mom reported that her daughter got a phone call, and it was Brandon Isabel. And Brandon Isabel told Danielle that he had had a change of heart and that he wanted to be daddy to the baby, and that he had gotten presents and clothes and stuff for the baby, and he wanted her to meet him at a MAPCO. And so she agreed and was heading over there. But before she got there, he messaged her again and said that he wanted to meet at a different location, and he gave her an address, which happened to be this abandoned street in the dark, and it was raining, and there's no security cameras on that street. There's no lighting or anything. And she parked her car there facing the wrong direction on the street, and she was probably pretty apprehensive, pretty scared as she parked there. And then Brandon came up on the passenger side of the car, and he began firing. He shot out the window, he left bullet holes in the door, and he also hit Danielle in the head and the neck. And then he opened the car and dragged her out of the car, all the while baby Kennedy's in the back seat in her car seat. And he dragged Danielle out of the car, and he dragged her away over to a ditch that was near the car, a ditch full of muddy water as it's raining. And then he deposits Danielle face down in the muddy water to let her bleed out and her life leave her body, as he goes back to the car, unbuckles the car seat with baby Kennedy inside, and puts baby Kennedy in his car. Then he drives home, where he lives with his parents. Sorry.
Drinky time. Yeah, well, this is a terrible crime. This freaking guy.
Apparently, I cough more when I get emotional.
Yeah, she's very emotional about this story. It's absolutely horrible.
It's a newborn baby.
It's a 2-day-old.
And the mom of the baby, and the grandma will never see her daughter or her granddaughter ever again. Anyway, Brandon went home, left the baby in the trunk, in the back seat of the car, opened the trunk and took off his slides and put them into his trunk because he noticed he had blood on his slides. He went inside the house and changed his clothes. He kept the same socks on, though. And he went back to his car, and he drove away with baby Kennedy in the back seat. And all the while, he was calling and texting Artesia, saying that, Artesia Stewart, and saying, please don't leave me. It's not my baby. We need to be together, and just begging and pleading and trying to mend his relationship with her, telling her she's the only one for him. And obviously she's the only one because he's murdered the other woman. And then he goes and drives along the Mississippi River back and forth, all the while that he's on the phone. And he's caught on video in the neighborhood, because obviously everybody has video these days. And anyway, he's caught driving real slow, up and down, deliberate.
Hey. You gonna be okay?
Meanwhile, officers went to the street where Danielle had gone, because that happens to be a place where stolen cars are often dumped. And the officer went there and he saw a car and he ran the plates, and then he called out for another officer to go to the home to see whether this was a stolen car on their hands. And of course, he didn't get out of his car yet because it was raining. The officer that went to Danielle's house obviously found out Danielle wasn't home, and Danielle's mom was beside herself, explaining that her daughter hadn't come back. She's worried. Her daughter has just got out of the hospital after giving birth, and she has her 2-day-old newborn daughter with her, and that they had gone to see her ex-boyfriend, the baby daddy, and they haven't returned, and she's been radio silent. There's been no phone calls. They were like totally terrified that something had happened to Danielle. So the police decided to go, the police officer near the car goes to have another look, while the officer that was talking to Danielle's mom was also going, okay, we got to try to find this Brandon guy, because she went to see him. Anyway, the cop that was over by the car goes and looks, has a closer look, realizes that the car is a crime scene, glass in there and everything. He's looking around, he finds the drag trail, and he finds Danielle deceased, face down in the muddy water. He noticed that there was no car seat and no baby in the back seat, but there was a diaper bag with Kennedy's name on it. And then now they knew they had a missing newborn on their hands. So then it was all hands on deck. Everyone is out looking for this baby and looking for Brandon Isabel. Meanwhile, Brandon Isabel, who had been driving slowly up and down next to the river, and contacting Artesia, saying that he had no baggage and that he wanted her back. He went to the boat ramp, a disused boat ramp.
It was locked.
It was locked, and he parked his car there, and he took the baby out of the car seat, and he went to the river's edge, and holding the baby by one foot, he hurled her into the river.
Terrible.
Her little hat fell off and was on the riverbank. He left, no thoughts whatsoever as to what he had done. And then he drove over to a Walgreens where he bought presents for Artesia, because she did agree to meet him. Then he went and drove behind a Walmart where he took the Kennedy's car seat out of his car and put it next to a dumpster. And then he went to go meet Artesia. He had told her to meet him at her place. And so he was already there when she pulled up, and she didn't even have a chance to turn off her car before he jumped in the passenger seat and told her, go, 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 you gotta go. So she drove, and he's in the passenger seat of the car telling her, oh, Danielle's gone missing, and the cops are looking for me, and, all this. So she drives him back to his house where he lives with his parents. But as they pull up, cops are already at his parents' house, and both of them were taken into custody. And then cops went and checked his car over at Artesia's house, and they found these slides with blood on it in the trunk, and they had noticed blood on his socks, and they sent those off for testing, and that was all Danielle's blood. And while he was being questioned at the police station, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he told them he shot Danielle. They had not shared the information with him that Danielle had been shot. And then when they asked him, okay, well, where's the baby? Where's baby Kennedy? And he said, oh, well, I took her to the boat ramp, and I left her in her car seat at the boat ramp. And of course, all these cops went there, and there's no sign of any car seat. And Even though there was a huge search, the baby was never found, but that little cap was found on the riverbank. And then because of all the video footage, they were able to figure out, and because, he never turned off his phone, he was constantly texting and calling Artesia the entire time. They have complete GPS of where he went. They were able to follow his movements. They found the car seat, and all that. They knew exactly what he did. And I don't think that Artesia has been charged with anything. She's testifying against Brandon, as she is the ex-girlfriend of him. I'm not sure exactly what she may have said or anything to, but I do feel like women in these situations, they should be charged with something if their boyfriend goes and takes the life.
And do they have the DP in that state?
Yeah, I'd like to know about that. What is the maximum Brandon is looking at? Anyway, it just reminds me of Chris Watts, where
that bastard.
I never felt right that the girlfriend did not get charged in that case, because his whole supposed motive was that she didn't want kids, and so he took the life of his pregnant wife, unborn baby, and his 2 little girls just to be with this bitch that didn't want any kids. If you don't want kids, don't date a guy with kids.
Dude. Don't get rid of your children to go be with someone else. Fucking Chris Watts.
Oh, wow. I did not know that Brandon Isabel was married and separated when this whole love triangle started. So it wasn't a love triangle. There was 4 people involved.
It was a 4-way.
He had a wife or ex-wife and 2 girlfriends. Holy moly.
Holy moly, I thought it was just this camera. It is giving me so much drama. God.
You got a big close-up of my eyeball. Hey, that's crazy.
So much drama, guys.
Anyway, so we'll be going over the Brandon Isabel case this weekend with you guys.
You guys are okay with
and
moving the camera.
Well, we're real. We're
real. We used to have a big giant studio set up, but we've downgraded.
But we upgraded our time together.
Yeah, we got a lot of time together now.
Anyway, now back to old Bear. Oh, sorry.
Bear, let's get Bear done, and we've been down here an hour 13. Let's get this finished by an hour and a half. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, just going. This arrest affidavit thing is much shorter and more concise than the crazy one from the first time he was arrested. This one
Linda was involved in.
Yeah, this one. Ann Kelly is the district attorney, and this is what's come back from the grand jury. This came back in June, and I just went over it today with my highlighter to pick out. It is only a few pages long, and I went and highlighted the most sticks out to me stuff that we can discuss now or later. But anyway, he's charged with murder in the first degree after the deliberation, and it says on or about May 9th to May 10th. So now we know it's supposed to be Saturday or Sunday, not Friday night. Barry Morphew unlawfully, feloniously, after deliberation and with intent to cause the death of a person other than himself, caused the death of Suzanne Morphew. So, we've got a specific time frame now, and then it goes on to explain why they believe that is the specific time frame of the murder. That doesn't mean that she wasn't drugged with the BAM on the Friday night, though. Anyway, The probable cause for count 1, which is this murder in the first degree, is as follows. At 5:46 p.m. on May 10th, 2020, Mother's Day, Sunday, Suzanne Morphew was reported missing to police by her neighbor. The last known person to see her alive was her husband, Barry Morphew. And it has always stood out to me that Barry tried to distance himself by having the neighbors report Suzanne missing rather than having...
No, you can't move it. It'll fall. No.
Well, I wanted you in there too.
Hi, guys.
Rather than having himself report her missing. He knew that he was guilty of something, and speaking from a psychological perspective, he was trying to put distance between himself and Suzanne by orchestrating the whole thing between his daughters and the neighbors in order to get the neighbors to report Suzanne missing. So she wasn't reported missing until 5:46 p.m. And then
all day. He said he left at 5 a.m.
Yeah. And it goes, Barry Morphew was interviewed and told police that he had set his alarm and woke up at 4:30 a.m. on May 10th, 2020. He told police that he left at 5 a.m. on May 10th for a pre-planned work trip in Broomfield, Colorado. And Barry Morphew stated that upon arriving in Broomfield that morning, he checked into a hotel before leaving shortly after for the job site. He told police that he received a call around 5 p.m. on May 10th, 2020 from his neighbors while physically at the Broomfield job site. And we know all of that is untrue. First off, his daughters had called him and he was orchestrating and telling the daughters what to tell the neighbors. And we know that
he could have been at the job site, but he wasn't working.
He was not at the job site. We'll get into that.
Okay, let's go.
The next highlighted portion.
Give enough light.
Police interviewed one of Barry's employees scheduled to assist him with the Broomfield job. The employee told law enforcement that the employee and Barry were not planning to leave for Broomfield until the evening hours of May 10th, 2020. They were supposed to drive together. Instead, Barry left without telling the employee. Barry called the employee at approximately 11:18 and informed the employee that he had left without them. When the employee arrived in Broomfield on Sunday evening, the employee noticed that Barry Morphew had failed to bring the proper tools with him for the job, and the necessary materials for the job had not yet arrived at the job site. Perhaps that was because the job wasn't really planned and the materials had not been ordered yet.
How could he have made this big mistake like this?
Yep. Comment below. Anyway, review of the cameras at the hotel and nearby businesses revealed that Barry Morphew was in the Broomfield area for approximately 9 hours and 45 minutes. Of those hours, he spent less than 1/2 hour at the job site. Instead, besides 2 brief visits to the job site area, electronic evidence and cameras from businesses showed him driving around to various locations and discarding unknown items in separate trash cans.
Okay, let's don't forget Men's Warehouse. That's been left out of this, I think.
Hotel, well, it's probably just, this is just the, this is not the testimony at trial or anything. This is just the indictment. So, of course, that it's not got all of the details. Let's see. Hotel footage then showed Barry Morphew arriving back at his hotel room and remaining inside the hotel room from 12:34 p.m. to 5:55 p.m.
What was he doing
on
in there,
his testimony. He was in the room, but he told law enforcement that at 5 o'clock when he got the call from, I believe it was Martin Ritter, and this was from the whole string of Barry telling the girls to call the Ritters calling the girls back, and the girls reporting back to Barry. At one point, Martin Ritter finally just called Barry directly instead of going through the daughters, and that was at 5. Anyway, and then Barry told Martin Ritter that he was at the job site, and he was not. He was in a hotel room.
I didn't know he was in the room all day,
Yeah.
all afternoon.
And then it goes on to say that was inconsistent with his statements to police. He was in the hotel, not at the job site, when he received the call about his wife Suzanne Morphew being missing. And then it goes, in early interviews with Barry Morphew, he told law enforcement that his marriage to Suzanne Morphew was the best, and that the two had a wonderful weekend together. When Barry was asked whether Suzanne would say anything different about their relationship, Barry stated no. And my thoughts on that are that, of course, Barry said no, Suzanne would not say anything different, because he knew that Suzanne would not be saying anything, ever.
Whoa.
And
Tell
then
us how you feel.
that's exactly how I feel.
Wow.
And then it goes, Barry Morphew's statements about his marriage to Suzanne were inconsistent with other witness accounts and evidence located. Specifically, investigators learned that Suzanne confided in people that she was unhappy in the marriage in the weeks and months leading to her disappearance. And that she had actually discussed getting a divorce with a close friend. And she had maintained documented notes of problems in the relationship, which were recovered from electronic devices and the physical search of the Morphew home. Suzanne Morphew had been having an affair with an old acquaintance who lived out of state. She communicated with him daily over LinkedIn and WhatsApp. Suzanne's last known electronic message to anyone was to this person, so Jeff Libler, who is on the witness list. And says her last known electronic message to anyone was to this person on May 9th, 2020 at 2:11 p.m., just 32 minutes before Barry Morphew returned to the home that day. And I'm going to go look and compare some of this with the other arrest affidavit to see if I can just kind of suss out a little bit more about that timeline between Suzanne and
Barry get
Jeff
back?
and
What time did he get back to the neighbor lady and the bicycle incident?
well, that's not here. This is on that Saturday, the 9th.
Okay.
Anyway, so if I just do a little mathy here, he returned to the home 32, so 2:43 is when he returned home. And I want to know when that photo was sent, since they're the one that was supposedly the last proof of life of Suzanne. Come back on the screen. I don't want to be alone.
Well, it's the silly camera mount. Hi, guys.
And
I don't think they like that.
and I want to find out when that photo was time stamped as being sent to him.
See,
because it is specifically saying that her last electronic message, that the last known contact with anyone was at 2:11 p.m.
I'm gonna have to work on this camera setup.
And then we go on. A forensic download of Barry Morphew's cell phone revealed that Barry Morphew had deleted a text chain with Suzanne Morphew, from which an image of a single text remained. A screenshot of this single text message was saved on Barry's phone on May 6th, 2020. The image revealed a text from Suzanne that stated, "I'm done. I could care less what you're up to and have been for years. We just need to figure this out civilly." And then another thing that stands out, let's get over here, is Law enforcement located a locked gun safe in the garage during the search of the Morphew residence. Inside that gun safe, law enforcement located a dart rifle or tranquilizer rifle positioned toward the front of the safe. Law enforcement also found packages of new dart brand tranquilizer darts in the gun safe. The packages of darts included capped hypodermic needles inside of them, which were designed to load the darts. The law enforcement found one of these needle caps in the dryer after the dryer's contents were removed. Law enforcement also found men's shorts among the contents of that dryer that were removed prior to finding the needle cap. The shorts appeared consistent with the shorts that Barry Morphew was seen on video wearing on May 9th, 2020, less than 1 hour before he returned to the Morphew residence. No tranquilizer formula was located during law enforcement's search of the home and vehicles.
I wonder why there was a dart cap. With all those ladies he lived with, you would think that one of those girls would have taken that cap.
Police investigated numerous electronic devices and Suzanne Morphew's social media accounts, searching among other things for proof of life. The investigation revealed that Suzanne Morphew had not communicated electronically with any living person after 2:11 p.m. on May 9th, 2020. Her last possible activity on any account protected by passwords access was at 3:08 p.m., over 24 hours prior to her being reported missing. Records showing her typical use of electronics and social media demonstrated this was inconsistent with her typical pattern. And then we go down to, based on data from his cell phone, Barry Morphew returned to the Morphew residence at 2:43 p.m. on May 9th, 2020. The data did not show his phone or truck leaving the residence again until the morning of May 10th, 2020. Baby!
That's our little alarm dog. There's something outside.
Maybe raccoons. Anyway, then they talk a little bit about the downloads of Barry's stuff. See, based on data from his cell phone, Barry Morphew returned, and the data did not show his truck or phone leaving the residence again until the morning of May 10th, 2020. And then they're talking about a download of his stuff, and the forensic analysis noted that Barry Morphew's phone download showed it was turned off at 2:47 p.m. on May 9th, 2020, only a few minutes after he arrived home at the residence where Suzanne Morphew sent her last electronic communication to anyone. And at approximately 10:17 p.m. on May 9th, the phone was turned back on. Barry Morphew's cell phone was again turned off at 4:32 a.m. Prior to him leaving the residence on his trip to Broomfield, and it was not turned on again until 5:37 a.m. when location information showed him on the road already in the area of Johnson Village, Colorado, which is, just, I forgot now whether it's before or after Buena Vista. Anyway, testimony established that the times Barry Morphew turned off his phone correspond to periods of time of significance in the case where location information was consequently unavailable. And the telematics in his truck showed an irregular gap in recorded activities from approximately 3:49 a.m. to approximately 8:10 a.m. on May 10th, 2020. There is no recorded data registering on Barry's infotainment system. That's the telematics of the truck. And if the indication of no truck activity from the telematics is inconsistent with other facts developed from Barry Morphew's phone and surveillance footage and Barry Morphew's statements about his activities on May 10th, 2020. Specifically, Telematics data shows Barry Morphew arrive at his residence at 2:43 p.m. on May 9th, 2020. It then registered various activities and blah blah blah. But then we get to from 3:49 a.m. to 8:10 a.m. on May 10th, 2020. The infotainment system or telematics did not register any data, despite the fact that Barry Morphew's cell phone indicated the device was in Johnson's Village at 5:37 a.m. on that date, and Barry reported being in his truck traveling to Broomfield at that time. So how was it that he was traveling to Broomfield, his phone's putting him there, he's putting himself there, but the truck's telematics do not show it moving and do not show it? That's because Barry turned off his telematics on his truck. Anyway, then we get to after 4:23 a.m. on May 10th, 2020, Suzanne's phone ceased to connect at all ever again. Just 8 minutes later, Barry Morphew's cell phone data showed his phone ceased to connect starting at 4:31 a.m., consistent with the cell phone downloads showing that it was powered off at 4:32 a.m. So he turned off his phone so that you wouldn't see where he was, and he already had the telematics turned off in his truck, so we wouldn't know what he was up to, where he was going, what he was doing. And then he turned the phone back on, but forgot to turn the truck back on. And then police interviewed people that knew Barry Morphew prior to his move from Indiana to Colorado in 2018. These witnesses told law enforcement that Barry Morphew was a deer farmer in Indiana. Several individuals told law enforcement that Barry Morphew used a specific tranquilizer called BAM to sedate and transport deer on his deer farm. Barry Morphew admitted to using BAM in both Indiana and Colorado. Specifically, he admitted to using BAM in Colorado as recently as April of 2020. Stating that at that time he had tranquilized a deer from the breezeway of his home. On September 22nd, 2023, human remains were found in and around a shallow clandestine grave in Saguache County, Colorado, near Highway 17. The remains were found a few hundred feet down a dirt road off Highway 17. This location was less than an hour south of the Morphew residence by main highways. A board-certified forensic anthropologist, a botanist, and an entomologist all analyzed the remains, and several observations were noted. There was a distinct lack of bug activity, which was inconsistent with the remains having decomposed at that location. The clothing items lacked evidence of decomposition, which was inconsistent with Suzanne Morphew wearing the bike clothes at the time her body decomposed. For example, remember Travis Decker, they were able to identify his remains yesterday because there was decomposition on the clothing that he was wearing, and so they got the material off of the clothing and were able to positively identify him. And additionally, there was a lack of animal predation on the bones. There were only a very small amount of desiccated soft tissue found on a few of the bones, and there was no hair mass located. All these features would have been expected if this had been the original grave site where decomposition had occurred. Okay, sorry.
That's okay, we're almost finished. No.
Wow. So anyway, all these features would have been expected if this had been the original grave site that decomposition had occurred. The forensic anthropologist opined that based on these factors, it was unlikely Suzanne decomposed from a fresh body to a skeleton in this location.
So obviously she was moved. Then we go about the BAM. BAM is a combination of butyrophenol, azapirone, and medetomidine. And I'm just going to call it BAM after that. But anyway, the toxicologist tested Suzanne Morphew's bone marrow for the presence of BAM, and all 3 of the individual chemicals that comprise BAM were present. Additionally, the metabolite for butyrophenol was present, which means it had metabolized. And anyway, the presence of the metabolite eliminated the possibility of post-mortem BAM contamination. The metabolite's presence also indicated that her death was not immediate following BAM exposure, because Suzanne's body had begun to metabolize the drug before she died. I'm sorry, it's just horrible. And that's obviously affecting my throat. And anyway, the coroner's office determined the cause of death and manner of death as follows: homicide by unspecified means in the setting of BAM. And then back in 2020 and the years leading up to Suzanne Morphew's disappearance, BAM was sold by only one company in the United States and could only be obtained by prescription from a veterinarian.
Jeez.
Right.
Need some cough drops next show.
Yeah, definitely. BAM must be administered into the bloodstream through intravenous or intramuscular injection to be effective, as skin and GI tract do not absorb it effectively. BAM does not cause sedation instantaneously, but it takes several minutes to take effect. BAM is designed not to be lethal and comes with several agents in the prescription kit. In other words, if after he injected her, he had the means to reverse the effects. He had the means to fix it. You know, just like you carry Narcan around in case you come across someone who has OD'd, and the Narcan can bring them back. Well, BAM comes in a kit form to where you can bring. Well, it's supposed to be for animals, but you can bring them back. Anyway,
where was that medicine? Was that located anywhere? The kit?
no, he had gotten rid of everything. However, BAM is not FDA approved for any human use. For that reason, there are no specific studies available to address the possible effects the compound would have on humans. The pharmacology expert testified that the compound would render the recipient wholly immobile, vulnerable, and unable to resist any constrictions to the recipient's ability to breathe. And anyway, Barry Morphew's last purchase of BAM by prescription was in March of 2018. Barry obtained multiple kits that each contained multiple doses just a few months before the Morphews moved to Colorado. Records further showed that no other private citizens or private businesses in any of the surrounding counties had purchased BAM prescriptions from 2017 to 2020. Colorado Parks and Wildlife and the National Park Service were the only entities that received prescriptions of BAM in those counties from 2017 through 2020, and investigators learned that each of these government entities enforced tight regulations to monitor the BAM prescriptions, storage, and use, and none of the BAM from those agencies was unaccounted for. Ultimately, the prescription records show that when Suzanne Morphew disappeared, only one private citizen living in the entire area of the state had access to BAM: Barry Morphew.
Dude.
And
Dude.
that's the indictment.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty straightforward to me.
This is, my goodness. comments. What do you think about this? You guys have been following along with this case. I know you have. You've been here since day one, right along with us. What's it say?
Oh, Charlie Kirk's tea. I'm gonna have to.
Oh yeah, the Charlie Kirk's tea.
I'll have to check that out. That might help.
It has lemon in it. We saw that.
I don't remember what.
JD Delay did a video about that.
Yeah, because some stupid barista wrote the racist favorite drink or something like that on a cup of Charlie Kirk's style tea that someone had ordered, and now that barista lost their job.
Mm-hmm. Was it mint tea? I forget.
Yeah, I'll have to go look and find out, but yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
let's
have to
Google
look into
that real quick. I don't want to Google it. I think it might be considered. I mean, I'm on the phone too much when I'm supposed to be on here with you.
Yeah.
You saw me in the
Yeah, I
background.
kept-
Just hey,
I peek up and see you on the. So yeah.
hi. We're in America. We call it the
Lemon-
United States, but
Lemon and
yes.
honey will help. Yeah, I'll try that.
Mint
and-
Majesty tea.
Mint Majesty, that's what it's called. Okay.
Right.
I'll have to find out what goes into a Mint Majesty and then make it myself because I'm not giving Starbucks that money.
No, we don't go to Starbucks. We don't get enough subscribers and we don't get enough likes on this channel to go to Starbucks. So thank you, moderators. You guys are slaying it with those trolls we have in here. How can we be such a small channel and have so many trolls?
I don't know. But it's so.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
And,
What's
but I love making our own stuff.
you mods can figure out what to do with that. You know, it's there, it's there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well,
Yeah, it's
it's kind of silly.
because I'm not a political person because
We've been touching on a lot of political
touch
stuff.
on politics when it's related to crimes.
What about the Puffy
Or
Diddy
against
Combs
rights.
story where the prosecutor lady was fired because she's the daughter of...
Another Kobe guy that
Wasn't he the
he was
FCC
FBI or something. I don't know. I need to go look into all this because I see the headlines on the YouTubes and it was just let's see, tea with two honeys. Okay, I'll have to make myself one because it's messed up and it's like
maybe if you wouldn't be so emotional reading about poor Suzanne, maybe
I
you
just
get those tears falling down the back of your throat.
yeah I read
Since she
things
came
or see
back
things
from the
that-
table, when she died on the table, she came back and she's just been so emotional about things and haven't you?
Yeah, and peppermint's good for stomach pain. Lemon, ginger, and honey is great for coughs. Okay, yeah, I'll do that because I am so much wanting to just switch to
Agua. Agua.
oh you know what?
Yes, agua, please. Thank you.
I need to switch to natural remedies and stuff. I'm not into pharmaceuticals anymore because of side effects and all that.
It could be dust. I agree. Or
Yeah.
pollens, but
And I'm trying to I've shared with the channel before that I have PTSD and whatnot, and I had fallen down the medication rabbit hole, and then I stepped off of them, and now I'm just trying to do everything natural and only put natural things in my body because I got a second chance at life, and I just want to do it more natural and with more love and no hate. I'm more of a pacifist, but also very angry and vocal about people who harm others. and continuing my study of human nature, but I'm not a counselor right now. Um, and life is a lot better when I'm using all natural remedies. And I see that Edie's got the same experience with that. And
I am your natural remedy.
yeah, he's one of my natural
She has
remedies.
brought me on the channel.
I'm just happier with
I
him
wanted
near
to be
me.
behind the scenes, but she's like, no, come sit with me. Make these mean people leave me alone.
Ah, Aldi coffee. Was
Aldi coffee?
Yeah.
We don't have Aldi in Colorado. We have Trader Joe's.
Well, sort of we do, because Aldi and Trader Joe's are pretty much the same store. It's just Aldi tends to have better prices than Trader Joe's.
Yes, because it's Aldi.
And I used to love Aldi. Oh my
we
god.
have lived in other states that had Aldi, though.
Yeah, and I loved it, and especially I loved gifting my kids the little chocolates that they had that were shaped like seashells.
Is that the ones that was like orange peels? They smell
Oh
orange.
yeah, they had that
Orange peel candy,
orange peel
dude.
candy and stuff. Yeah.
So we're just gonna general chit chat now. I came across a story on YouTube.
Did you?
The heavy metal death metal band Slayer. Have you guys heard of Slayer?
Yes.
You guys have heard of
Slayer.
Slayer, the rock
Slayer.
band, right? Anyways.
Oh my god. After you're done bringing this, I'll have a little
There's
Slayer
a
turn.
Slayer story coming up we're going to cover on the channel. It's not really about Slayer. It's about a group of teenager guys that felt that they had to sacrifice an innocent girl so that they could go on with their musical career, and they were referencing Slayer being as the reason why they did it. So look for that to come.
Oh, yeah, and our son was telling me about that too, and he said that the guys are now out on parole, those guys that sacrificed that girl.
And there's also a freedom of speech issue with this story as well. Youngblood, Kimmel.
Ah, sweet! I'm gonna have to go watch that after this.
Yeah, I've figured out who Youngblood is now. I noticed he is played on my Sirius XM
Anyway,
stations.
I've got a funny Slayer concert thing, which is
Slayer!
also sad because
Dude, we just went to
I
Slayer
think-
like a few years ago.
and okay,
Anyway,
I made a huge mistake of we went out to eat before we went to Slayer, and I had a bacon cheeseburger, and the bacon did not agree with me, so I got so sick, and I was feeling super sick. But also, it's fun too, because like we were out on the floor, and I wasn't feeling all that great, so I was hanging on Bay. I mean, I'm always right up next to him anyway, because if there's crowd surges or anything, I can either like cling to him on the front of him or get behind him and let him be the wall, because a lot of times the circle pits open up with him as part of the wall. But anyway, as Slayer came out, the crowd surged, and it was so crazy. I had to just cling to his neck and shoulders. I was in front of him, and I actually had my feet and everything lift up off the floor, and I was just hanging down to him going, ah!
but it's Slayer. It's gonna be fine.
But then after that, the food poisoning got a hold of me, and I had to go over to the restroom, and I spoke to the security guards and said, hey, I got food poisoning. This is not an OD, because I also noticed that somebody had OD'd in that bathroom, and they brought that person back and got them taken care of, which is like really crazy, because just earlier that day we had gone to a public restroom and somebody OD'd in there too.
Just a tiny. Well,
But that's why we carry Narcan, because you just run across people that have OD'd, and
a lot of people in Denver.
I don't like people to die.
Narcan.
So anyway,
That was one of our Slayer shows.
and the little dog that you keep hearing is an All-American? I don't know what you want to call him. He's some sort of mutt. He was supposed to be a Chihuahua mix. I'm not sure if he is. He isn't very big, and you've seen him.
He's as tiny as a Chihuahua, but he doesn't look anything like a Chihuahua.
Yeah.
It's just the weirdest looking thing. He's a really good watchdog. He hears everything. He can hear things from like a block away.
Yeah, and you know, and
What's going on? We were talking
the
about
trash pandas and cans.
Slayer.
Yeah.
We were talking about Barry Morphew.
so it'll be another story that we go and cover just because it's interesting.
And we were talking about D4vd, David the singer.
Ah,
We're talking about that horrible man who put the baby in the river.
yeah, Brandon.
Now,
Oh, Murphy is a Shih Tzu, and Murphy barks like
Right
our
now-
little dude.
we're just having general chit chat right now. Some of the stories we want to cover.
Yeah. So I guess we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll have to go outside and see if that was a trash panda or what. Make sure the
raccoons, you know.
Make sure the bins are all right, and we don't want to be.
Brandon
Messing
Isabella,
up.
what a horrible man. Maybe, hopefully, he'll get the DP, guys. Can we get a name, maybe a number 1 if he's going to get the DP? You want to see this guy?
Want
My
to see
God,
a silly
he's
face?
horrible thing. Horrible.
No.
We're from the United States. How about you? Where are you guys from? You guys are from the U.S., right?
Guitar Ninja. That sounds cool.
We're in the Rocky Mountain State.
Yep. And
We live in the Rockies, way up on top, 9,000 feet above sea level.
we are nomadic nowadays. So we live around Colorado. We kind of go where we want to be or where we need
Katie,
to be.
we know where you're from. Journey. Are you in England right now?
Oh wow!
Oh, you're in
From
Wisconsin.
England,
That's
I live-
right.
Yeah.
Jamin, where are you, if you care to tell us?
North Carolina. Cool.
I was looking for the Mud River. They were talking about
Ah, thank you.
the baby was tossed into the Mud River, or he was driving up and down by the Mud River. So I was trying to reference that, watching some of the local news stations of where this happened. And I'm from India.
Oh wow, India.
Wow, welcome.
Are you in India or just from India? 'Cause I know there's a lot of people from India in the United States.
We definitely could use some India and comments on this channel. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Always welcome here.
Yep. Well, in India, okay.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I hope you come back and see us again. We've been going live every evening, every afternoon.
One of the things that makes me happy are little food shows like where they cook on little things, and some of my favorite ones that I watch are people in India.
Oh, Edie.
Oh, Edie's originally from Ireland but lives in Australia now. That's cool.
I wonder.
So it sounds like a lot of
It rains
travelers
a lot
at
in
heart.
Ireland, huh? And then Australia probably be warm. Hey, what's this message been held? I want to see. 10 seconds,
Yeah.
dude. 10 seconds for $20. Hit that super chat. Hit that super chat. My dear wife, we have been together for so long.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to do that though. They said they gave us $20 to watch. No, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Super chat does exist.
I thought about it for a second.
If anybody wants to hit that super chat, so that's fine.
It's no big deal. We kiss all the time.
We have super chat.
But we don't usually kiss on
That's
camera.
weird. I can't. Why would you want to do this? True crime, not lover time.
Yeah.
It's not lover time channel. It's true crime. We talk about evil, terrible things. We talk about cannibalism here sometimes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of cannibals. Journey.
Oh, your accent. Yeah.
Yes, that would be another channel. That's on our super channel.
Hmm.
The one we haven't started yet.
That's a whole other show. Yeah. Yeah.
The likey button, guys. Let's talk about.
Do you want to see Grandma and
It's
Grandpa
your
kiss?
turn to come up with the story, anyways. I came up with the Slayer thing,
Yeah.
and we're gonna look at that Florida story. The JLR covered.
Yeah, the one that JLR
I want to cover
and
that.
Magnolia covered.
and figure out what all happened with that one. And
And the furry guy. We'll continue talking about the little furry guy.
yeah, there might be, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he's like,
The little twig guy. What's his name? Twig? What's his
Lance
first? Lance
Twigs.
Twigs, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about him. Journey. Like, oh, come on, Karen. Post him up.
So yeah, just hit us up, either comment on the videos or go and comment just randomly over in the community post
If you
section,
wanna-
and let us know what you want to talk about.
We can talk about...
Oh yeah, we can talk
Kirk.
about Charlie Kirk.
Yes, go ahead. Put him in the comments.
Because
What is the new theory about
whether
Charlie
we
Kirk?
agree with him or not, there was no
Charlie
reason
Kirk-
to assassinate that young
Charlie
man.
Kirk was silenced by a person who was not quite okay.
Yeah, I don't think Tyler is right.
I wonder if it was to get rid of his freedom of speech. Was there any reference to that, or in his memoirs? Do you think?
Yeah, I would like to know about the different theories about Charlie Kirk and about this assassination and about why it was done. And
how did he
and
even
and
position himself?
I wonder all the time about the possibility of him being unalive by his lapel microphone being detonated, and that's what did it. Well, that would explain the next
Whoa,
the next shot.
That's
so,
a conspiracy
so
there.
we'll have to go look into that, because also I don't know how good of a shot. Whoops! Ah!
Oh, now you've done it.
I knocked over our camera.
Oh, I told you.
Ah.
I said if you bump that thing, it's gonna tip over.
Ah.
Hi, everybody. Are we still live? Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Come on. Yeah, well.
Yeah, he did want the Epstein files released, and then he was told by the Trump Association
The next
group
day.
not to talk about it. So then he's all like, I'm not to talk about it. I trust them and everything. But he probably was going to want the truth to be out there, so that could be.
Yes. Charlie Kirk says, "Oh yes, I want the Epstein files. I want them released, and I want it done yesterday." The next day or so later, he says, "Oh no, I'm done talking about the Epstein files now."
Yeah,
Remember?
because he was told to not talk about it. But I did always feel, from what had happened, that young man was assassinated in the way that he was. I mean, Nick, I always felt that was.
Thank you, Kent. I am gorgeous. Look at me.
Anyway, and that's one of the reasons why I have my husband on with me all the time, is because I was like freaking out because of comments like that, and I used to have other social media stuff, and I don't have that anymore because my DMs started getting full of all kinds of weird stuff, and I was like, ah!
No, she doesn't like people to talk to her like that anymore.
No, I'm a grandma.
She is a granny. I think he's talking to me.
Yeah, he must be talking to you. You're a gorgeous lady, dear.
Hey, you guys, we support all kinds of freedom of speech here. We support all kinds of different, all kinds of difference in choices. Yeah. Yeah. Bring that on.
Are we gay and trans? No, but we support.
If you guys want to
their
come
right
on
to be
here,
that.
and if you want to be gay, and you want to comment in the section,
Yeah, we have no
I'm
problem
not
with gay
gonna
and trans.
freaking
We
ban
are
you.
allies with gay and trans.
so Finn, if
But-
you're trans and you'd like to come out in front of a worldwide audience, that's fine. We can do that for you. Go ahead. We're waiting
Are
for
we
you.
high? Not during the live.
We don't do high. Gee, we are gay.
As in happy. Yep.
Finn was all God, bye. Dude, he was just kidding. Well, they. No, I can't assume that he's a he, because Finn was probably going to come out right now on the Bunny and Bay show.
Yeah.
Hmm.
My bad.
Anyway, things are getting weird.
we get
um,
trolls here. It's
So,
cool.
159.49. Okay, I guess we really are going to go this time, and we will see you guys again tomorrow, and let us know what all you want to talk about, because we really love hanging out with you guys. So, see you later.
Comments run. Last chance. Leave your comments there. Hit that likey
I like
like.
that. Just do you. Yeah.
11 people here.